Welcome back again. Today we will be discussing grammar and what is grammar. Grammar is the organization of words that when put together form a complete understandable message. This is done by sound or by written means. If I were to say to you, "Hello, how are you today?" you would understand. However, if I was to say to you, "Goodbye, today are you how?" you may not understand this sentence as well as the other. All languages have one thing in common: text, sentence structure, words and sound. English is no different. Grammar study is focused on the path of arranging words together to make a cohesive sentence that the reader or listener can understand. It is like a train. It needs the boxcars to be put into place at the right place in order for the sentence, in this case the train, to run smoothly. If the engine is at the back of the train, or in the middle, the train cannot run smoothly. Such is grammar. To further illustrate this point, the placement of words in a sentence structure, is covered by a set of rules known as syntax. This would be the same way a train is put together. The engine, coal cart, passenger cars, and then the caboose. Syntax rules would allow Keith is a handsome man, but it would not allow Keith handsome is man because the proper sentence structure is not there. The boxcars just aren't put together in this train to allow it to operate properly. Another set of rules is morphology. Morphology is the usage of the proper tense when writing a sentence. It would allow Keith is a handsome man, it would not allow Keith be a handsome man. It would be like putting a natural gas boxcar where the coal boxcar should be. It is understandable, the natural gas can make the train move, but they just don't work together. We will cover both areas of these rules in this book so you can better understand them and how to teach students in the future. In order to teach grammar, one would have to teach both morphology and syntax at the same time in order for students to better understand how grammar rules work. This is how the train is put together. Each sentence in English has two basic parts of speech: a noun, which is also known as the subject, and a verb, the action the noun does. It can be as simple as two words: I walked. In this past sentence, I was the subject and the verb showed the action the subject did. The subject must be before the verb in a sentence, but the syntax rules state the verb must be before the noun in a question. Am I walking? As you can tell, the word am is what is known as a be verb. These verbs show the quantity of the people in the subject or who it relates to. We are not amused. I am not happy. He is not going. As you can tell, the be verbs change when the subject changes depending on who is talking or who the subject is about, the amount of people involved and where they are located. Then you have sentences that you must add additional parts of speech. In this case we have added articles, which state how many of something there is along with an additional noun, which now is known as an object. The train left the station. Art. Noun, verb, art. Noun. As you can see, we have a complete train set up and ready to go. We have an article, noun, verb, article, and another noun. However, we could not say this. The train left station. The above sentence or train is missing a boxcar, the word station is missing an article, the word the. While it is plausible to understand what this sentence means without the article, other sentences the meaning and legibility may be lost if a sentence has too many errors. In order for a learner to become a more successful student, grammar must be taught while the student is learning reading, writing, and speaking. This will help facilitate the thought process on why certain words go in certain places and the meaning of what is being said. Grammar is necessary for a student who wants to continue their education. A student who only speaks English can only go so far. A student who studies a phrase book can only go so far as they need more vocabulary and phrases. Grammar is essential to learning because it focuses in on two basic fundamental principles of learning, reading and speaking. A student who possesses a vast knowledge of grammar will excel at writing and speaking. They will excel in writing because they can express their views in a clear and precise way. Students also can express themselves orally because they can put sentences together quickly and concisely instead of a way that is confusing and sometimes in an illiterate way. Grammar must be taught in order to help students become better learners of a target language. This way you will have the best students who are appreciative of having a capable teacher. There are, however, people who say grammar is not necessary to teach. If a student can speak properly, then they don't need grammar. This has a little merit. A student who can speak properly may not be able to write or read properly. For instance, a student can speak English clearly but can't write because their written English is undecipherable, meaning their grammar is poor. Written English is proper English, while spoken English is full of slang, idioms, and partial sentences. Grammar is also important when you teach beginner students how to speak. Students must first learn how to put together sentences. Then they can visualize what they are writing and how to put a correct sentence together. If they understand basic sentence structure, they are able to read a sentence where they can understand what is presented. Grammar rules are broken into two different areas: syntax and morphology. Syntax conveys the meaning of the correct order of words. Morphology covers the correct word, or tense, to be placed in a sentence. Remember, in order for a train to operate smoothly, it must be put together in a fine row. You cannot put the engine first, followed by the caboose, and then the coal car. You also cannot use a Mac monitor for a IBM computer. It's that simple. Well, that is all we have for today. Thank you for being here. We will continue with attitudes towards grammar in the next episode.